92.5. Brooke and Jubal's second date update.
If there's two things women love, it's fast cars and loose men.
Oh, I'm
Or is
going with yes.
is it loose cars and fast men?
That's it.
I'm not sure which one it is, but I do know that women love men and cars. And so does Cliff, who's on the phone right now, because Cliff took the girl that he wants us to call today in a second date update out on a very interesting date. He called it a car hopping date.
What?
What is that?
Cliff, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. Now, which one are you? Are you a loose car or a fast man?
I'm a fast car loose man.
Oh, okay. So your email explained the date that you took this girl on. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to do something, sort of unique. And I said, why not go car hopping?
Do you mean like you go to dealers and you just test drive cars, or you're like...
Yeah. I
Oh.
mean, pretty much we go to like a dealership and, like Mercedes and Lexus, really nice cars. I'm like, hey, we're looking at buying a car and we want to test drive it. And it was a fun way to get to know each other, test driving cars that you normally wouldn't drive.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
It sounds like a cool date. Is this something you've done before?
No, it's something that I kind of came up with.
All right, let me ask Brooke, because like from a dude's perspective, it'd be awesome to just drive a bunch of cars that I never got to see the inside of. As a woman, would you be interested in this date?
No.
No, okay.
No,
So it sounds
not
terrible
at
to her.
all.
Why?
Like,
I thought girls like cars.
one, going to dealerships is like, ugh.
Yeah.
Who wants to do that? And two, then having some dude go on some weird power trip thing when you like to drive fast cars. Like, the whole thing is too much testosterone for my taste.
No, it's not like that at all. I mean, it's not like we're going out to test drive a Honda Civic or some car and then talk about the safety features, or a minivan. Like, hey, can this fit 7 people? We're like, we're test driving very nice cars, convertibles.
Yeah, but how much conversation and sexy can you have with a car salesman in the car with you?
Well, they don't always go with you. Some of the nicer car dealerships let you go on your own.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have the third wheel. They're sitting, the guy's trying to listen to your game. What's going on?
Yeah. That's true. Anytime I've gone to look at a car with somebody else, though, you're like, you two can go ahead and take it, and I'll just be here when you get back.
That's good.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, and I understand if you go into a dealership and you're sitting there crunching numbers and so on. We were just test driving the car, and we're like, all right, well, thank you. Didn't really like the car, and go to the next dealership.
You're just wasting the salesman's time instead.
Yeah, which is fine to do because they waste a lot of people's time.
Yeah.
So wasting a car salesman time, I'm all for it. Before we get into more about your car hopping date, where did you meet this girl?
I met Heather actually at a singles mixer, speed dating sort of thing.
Speed dating.
And, she wrote my number down. I wrote her number down, and, we had a connection.
Okay. And while you guys were out test driving a bunch of cars, how did everything seem to go? Did she seem to really have a good time?
Yeah, absolutely. At one point, we drove for like an hour, I think, and, we really hit it off. And
Whoa.
You test drove a car for an hour? Did they think you stole it?
It's like a road trip.
No, I think the guy actually thought I really wanted to buy it. So, it's like, hey, you can test drive the car all day if you want.
So you took his word for it. You're like, sure, all right. Why not?
Exactly. And then I asked her, if she wanted to get some lunch, and then
Take her to lunch in the car that you were test driving? That's what you should have done.
Drive through.
She said she already had plans with her friends, and it was maybe a little awkward. I didn't want to go in for a kiss, but I, kind of gave her a hug, and I said, I really had a good time, and would love to see you again. She said, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Do you think that she's making that up? The only reason I bring up is we've done a lot of second date updates where people make up. Like, oh, I had plans earlier.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get that.
And even if she was telling the truth, the thing is if she was really, truly interested in you and you guys were doing an early date like that, she'd bail on her friends to hang out with. I mean, like, her friends would understand if she
Yeah.
was on a date and it went long.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she had a baby shower or something. I mean, who knows?
It's always, look, dude, hey.
You can't miss a baby shower.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of women, Cliff, and it's always a baby shower. Every time. So yeah, have you heard anything from her since she left your date to go to this damn baby shower?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I called her actually, and it's been about a week and she hasn't called me back yet. So I'm just, trying to figure out. That's why I called you guys.
Okay.
And you can't think of anything weird that happened in the cars. She was perfectly happy.
Maybe the problem was that you didn't buy a car. And you should have gone back to the dealer and said, hey, I'm going to let the missus wait in the waiting room while men go crunch some numbers. You hang out there and maybe we'll get some dinner in my new sedan later.
That could have been it. I
Could
don't
have
know.
been.
Oh, that sounds awful.
All right, well, we'll play a song, come back, call her, and get your second date update, okay?
Got it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Hang on.
Moving 92.5. Brooke and Jubal in the mornings. Second date update.
We're in the middle of a second date update, and if you're just joining us, Cliff is on the phone, and today he wants to call a girl named Heather to find out why she's not calling him back. Cliff took her on a very interesting and creative date that we haven't heard of before. He took her out to test drive cars. It sounds a lot more boring than it is, I think. The whole idea was you get to test drive a bunch of cars that you normally wouldn't drive. You have some fun conversation and everything else. But here's where I think you messed up, Cliff.
Okay.
Okay, it sounds fun, but I don't think you made it fun enough. You needed to make it a little more exciting. You get in the car to test drive it, and then you take the car off a jump. You know what I mean? Find a jump somewhere and jump that car. Or, hey, there's train tracks everywhere. Race a train. Drive that car up to the top of a mountain, then drive it down to show her what it can really do. Live on the edge. Show her just how precious life is.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's a chance that she'll realize she's not going to be on this earth for a long time, and she might spend the night with you. That's what you should have done.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
Yeah. Hey, since she's not calling you back, are you kind of rethinking that whole car idea? Maybe you should have stuck to something more traditional, like, I don't know, say cocktails.
Maybe a nice lunch, a brunch or something. Yeah, it would have been better, I think.
Could have combined them both, cocktails and test drives.
Oh, that's
Hop in the car with a margarita.
yeah, very illegal.
All right. I'm going to dial her phone number right now and find out the reason she's not calling you back. You ready to go?
Okay, yes, absolutely.
All right, here we go. I'm going to dial her phone number right now. Well, we're going to do it intense.
Do not play this.
Yeah. This is an intense second date update. All right.
Hello,
Hi, can I speak to Heather?
this is she.
Hey, Heather, how are you? This is Jubal from Brooke and Jubal in the Morning.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Jubal from Brooke and Jubal in the Morning, the radio show.
Okay.
I'm calling you because we recently got an email about you from a dude that you went on a date with, and for some reason you're not calling him back, and he asked if we could get you on the phone and find out why.
Who are we talking about?
His name is Cliff.
Oh, f***ing hell.
Wow. You remember Cliff.
That bad, huh?
I never want to talk to that guy again.
Why?
Because he is the sketchiest, creepiest. I can't even.
Whoa.
Was it just the weirdness of the date or the weirdness of the person you were on the date with?
You know those kind of people that get the emails that say, a distant relative of yours just died in England and you will get $1 million if you just provide us this information for the disbursement of the funds. And they
Yeah.
actually answer those emails.
That's how I've made my
I
millions.
basically became that kind of person.
You became that.
became-
What do you mean by you're that kind of person? I don't understand.
I mean, I'm an idiot for going on a date with him.
Oh, okay.
Like he suckered you into it.
Yeah.
And you knew from the beginning you should have said no.
I mean, from the beginning, I didn't know it. But about 15 minutes into the date, I definitely knew, and I should have just walked away then.
I talked to Cliff. He doesn't sound like a weird guy. He
Can
sounds-
I tell you my side of the story?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, first of all, we'll put aside the weirdness of our date is going to be test driving cars. Okay, sure. And then we're driving this car for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes, do you think I look sexy in this car?
Did he say it just like that, too?
Yeah, and like really seriously and creepy. He's like, do you like this car?
Oh my God. How did you respond to that?
And I'm like, I guess, yeah. And so then he goes, do you think I should buy it?
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, I mean, if you want it, do you need a car? Sure. I don't know what to, it's just so creepy.
Yeah, that was my fear when we first talked to him about the date, was that he was going to do something like that to try to impress you.
No, it gets better.
Oh, it gets better.
What happened?
So then he pulls over. And he, like, very seriously to me says, I really love this car. I love myself in it. I love you next to me in it.
What?
Would you be willing to co-sign?
No,
way.
he did not. Stop it.
Swear to God.
He asked you to co-sign on a loan for a car with him.
Yes, and I said, we just met, and so then he goes on to say, I got in some financial trouble a few years back, and my credit is shot, and I can't buy a car. While I have the money to make the payments and everything, they're not going to give me a loan, and I need a co-signer, and I just think you and I have great chemistry. And I'm like, what is even happening? It's like
I don't see the problem with that. I mean, I don't understand why it's such a big deal.
What was that?
That was Cliff. Cliff, you're supposed to wait for me to tell her
my
that you're on the
gosh.
phone. Cliff is actually on the phone listening.
Oh, you ass.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much I can take of her, making it sound like I'm some creep or weird or, blah, blah, blah.
How do you think that was acceptable first date behavior?
Maybe I was wrong. When I met you, I saw a lot of compassion. And if you had compassion, then you would know that it's not such a bad thing to co-sign with me. I mean, I don't see what's the problem.
So, Cliff, you weren't joking when you were asking her to co-sign a loan.
No, I had listen, about 3 years ago, I had some problems with my credit, and I'm working on it. And I think me driving a better car would definitely give me a better look.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Buy $100,000 car. That'll, really secure your finance. That's really building financial stability.
So you're saying, Heather, that you never had a rough time in your life, and now you're putting me down. You're kicking a man while he's down. Is that what you're saying?
I have had rough times in the past, I guess, but I've never asked a complete stranger to co-sign on a loan for me.
A complete stranger. The second time I saw you, we met one time, and this is the second time.
That's true.
So I'm not a complete stranger. First of all, second of all, when I looked at you, when I pulled over and I looked at you, and it really made a deep connection with you, and I looked at you and I said, you know what? I can really see myself driving this car with you in it. I meant that.
I meant that.
Cliff,
and
are you
you
that
could be in it
dumb?
because you could basically own part of this car if you wanted to.
Cliff, I'm totally baffled by this. Do you truly not understand how bad it is what you did?
I mean, maybe I trust people too much.
Cliff, is there anybody else closer to you that you could have co-sign a loan rather than somebody that you're on a first date with?
Well, my family, I mean, I don't really talk to them, but that's a whole nother story.
Because you owe them money, probably.
Yeah.
You know what, Heather? I hope one day that you don't hit a rough time like I did. And, maybe someday you need somebody to co-sign with you, and then you'll remember this time. You'll remember the car hopping. You'll remember me, and you go, you know what? Karma's a bitch.
All right. Well, at this point, I would love to ask if you guys would go on a second date. Heather, will you go out on a second date with Cliff? We will pay for it, and I'll have somebody co-sign that loan.
No.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
pretty clear.
Cliff, I'm sorry. No second date, man.
That's fine. It is what it is. But, hey, Jewel, if you want to co-sign with me, I'm up for it, man.
You're asking me to co-sign a loan with you?
I mean, you were offering,
I didn't offer. I said, I've had to have people do that. And trust me, the
No,
only...
but you said if she went out with me again, you find somebody co-sign.
Yeah, I did. Look, me co-signing a loan with you would only make your chances worse of getting a loan.
I don't know. We can always give them free advertising on your radio show.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
I'll do that. I'll risk my job and give them free advertising for plugs on the radio, and I'll co-sign a loan with you even though I don't know you. I'll totally do that for you.
Really?
No, Cliff. I will not do that.
Brooke and Jubal.